Yeah, let's go. What are we waiting on? Uh,
Reigns was once the untouchable cornerstone of WWE, a generational talent with a magnetic presence who transcended the confines of the squared circle. After years of fan resistance during his initial babyface push, WWE finally struck gold with the Tribal Chief persona, a character so layered, so commanding, that even the harshest critics had to admit Roman had become the standard bearer of modern wrestling. He wasn't just a wrestler. He was an aura. Yet now, after WrestleMania 41, it's painfully clear that WWE is systematically dismantling everything that made Roman Reigns special, reducing him from a godlike figure into just another casualty of their short-sighted creative machine. The betrayal at WrestleMania 41 was framed as shocking, but in truth, it felt lazy. Paul Heyman's turn on Roman wasn't just a plot twist. It was an assassination of years of intricate character work. Heyman and Reigns had built a bond that was almost mythic. Their dynamic carried entire SmackDown episodes, pay-per-views, and storylines on its back. Heyman's low blow at WrestleMania wasn't a carefully foreshadowed narrative climax. It was a cheap pop designed to swerve fans without earning it. In doing so, WWE betrayed the emotional investment fans had put into their relationship. Roman's legacy as the Tribal Chief was not supposed to end with a gimmicky betrayal during a triple threat match. It deserved a Shakespearean downfall, not a bad daytime soap opera twist. WWE further compounded their mistake the very next night on Raw. Roman Reigns, who once made every arena fall silent with a mere glance, was suddenly left looking small, diminished, like a relic of a different era. Braun Breaker, a talented but still unproven commodity, was booked to attack Reigns, standing over him like a new king ascending a stolen throne. The visual was intended to establish Breaker as the future, but all it did was strip Reigns of his aura, making him look vulnerable without the necessary build-up to make it feel tragic or meaningful. In the span of 24 hours, WWE managed to unravel 4 years of storytelling excellence. What's worse is the complete abandonment of Reigns' complexity. The Tribal Chief wasn't just a heel. He was a layered character who saw himself as the hero of his own story. He wasn't evil for evil's sake. He genuinely believed he was protecting his family, maintaining the order of things, ensuring the bloodline's supremacy. That depth is now gone, replaced by a hollow, one-dimensional portrayal of a fallen king with no clear purpose. WWE seems content to strip Reigns of everything that made him unique, tossing him into a generic revenge storyline that lacks the emotional heft and psychological nuance that defined his best work. The internal turmoil within the Bloodline faction only exacerbates the problem. Instead of carefully exploring the fractures within the family, WWE has chosen to fast-track the breakup with clumsy, rushed storytelling. Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu have been thrown into the mix without the necessary character development to make their betrayals impactful. Their motivations feel manufactured rather than organic. Where Reigns' initial run was built on subtle glances, loaded silences, and slow-burn tension, this new phase is a chaotic mess of sudden betrayals and superficial drama. WWE is asking fans to care about developments that have no foundation, insulting the intelligence of an audience that had proven willing to invest in long-term storytelling when it was executed properly. Perhaps most damning is WWE's apparent desire to erase Reigns' once mythical presence by overexposing him. Part of what made the Tribal Chief so compelling was his relative scarcity. Roman wasn't on every show. When he appeared, it felt monumental. Now, WWE seems poised to roll him out in every segment, overloading the audience and dulling the impact of his appearances. In trying to maximize short-term ratings pops, they are burning through the last reserves of his mystique, treating him like a workhorse rather than a once-in-a-generation attraction. There's also the glaring mishandling of Roman's character evolution. After losing at WrestleMania, Roman should have undergone a profound internal reckoning. Fans should be watching a man grappling with the collapse of his empire, questioning his worth, fighting to redefine himself. Instead, WWE has him reacting like any other generic top guy who lost a belt, throwing punches, demanding rematches, cutting the same cookie-cutter promos we've seen 1,000 times before. It's a staggering failure of imagination. Roman's downfall could have been the richest character arc WWE has ever produced. Instead, It's being squandered on lazy tropes and uninspired booking. The tragedy is that Roman Reigns deserved better. After years of being forced down fans' throats, he earned their respect the hard way, through undeniable greatness. His matches became masterclasses in storytelling. His promos were dripping with subtext. His presence redefined what it meant to be a top guy in the modern era. He built something rare, something enduring, something that could have sustained WWE's main event scene for years to come. And yet, because WWE cannot resist the temptation to sacrifice long-term potential for short-term shock value, they are methodically tearing it all down. What's unfolding before our eyes isn't just the mismanagement of a character, it's the squandering of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Roman Reigns had the chance to retire as the greatest WWE champion of the modern era, a legend who could have passed the torch with the dignity and gravity his story deserved. Instead, he's being dragged down into the muck of bad booking, pointless betrayals, and shallow storytelling. WWE isn't just ruining Roman Reigns. They're ruining their own legacy, their own history, their own future. Every decision they make compounds the error. Every segment where Roman is treated like just another guy. Every match booked without stakes. Every promo filled with empty words. It all adds up. It all sends the same message, over and over again. Nothing matters. Not the bloodline, not the tribal chief, not the years of dominance. In WWE's world, everything is disposable, even Roman Reigns. And maybe that's the saddest part. Roman fought so hard, against the fans, against the system, against his own worst instincts, to become something more. He transcended the limitations WWE placed on him. He became undeniable. And yet, here we are watching WWE do what they do best. Take something beautiful, something rare, something genuinely special, and grind it into dust, all in the name of cheap pops and quarterly profits. Roman Reigns deserved an ending worthy of the story he told. Instead, he's getting the same ending so many before him have received, forgotten, mishandled, and ultimately left to wonder what could have been if only WWE had valued greatness over convenience. There was a time when every Roman Reigns match felt consequential, an event that altered the landscape no matter the result. Now, WWE shuffles him into random six-man tags and meaningless beatdowns with no long-term vision, robbing every confrontation of its gravity. Even when he wins, it feels empty, devoid of the storytelling depth that once made his victories feel either ominous or hard-earned. The artistry has been replaced by blunt force, the nuance by noise. Roman Reigns. The character was once about control, about commanding the flow of the story. Now he is at the mercy of booking patterns that offer no consistency, no emotional payoff, and no reason for the audience to stay invested. The Bloodline saga was supposed to be Roman's masterwork, his magnum opus, the tale that would define his career and reshape the perception of what a modern wrestling faction could be. Instead, it's decaying in front of our eyes, its final chapters not written in glory but in creative laziness. The family drama that once unfolded with the elegance of a tragic epic now reads like bad fan fiction, riddled with rushed alliances, nonsensical betrayals, and forgotten motivations. There was a sophistication to the Bloodline when it first rose to prominence. It was a story built on loyalty, fear, love, and duty. Now it's cartoonish infighting slapped together with no concern for emotional resonance or internal logic. The botched opportunity to revisit Roman's rivalry with Seth Rollins only adds insult to injury. The layers of history between them, from the Shield to past betrayals to personal jabs, could have fueled a nuanced, emotionally charged feud. Instead, their interactions post-WrestleMania have been reduced to shallow brawls and cheap heat tactics. There's no depth, no callbacks to their shared past, no acknowledgement of the scars they left on each other. WWE had the chance to deliver a story dripping with resentment, regret, and unfinished business. Instead, they've given us a surface-level grudge match, devoid of any real emotional weight. Adding to the travesty is the missed chance to use Roman's vulnerability as a storytelling tool. A fallen tribal chief, desperate to reclaim his identity, could have been the most compelling character in wrestling. WWE could have explored Roman trying to reassemble the bloodline, facing rejection from family members who no longer trust him, battling self-doubt, and confronting his own flaws. It could have been an epic journey of redemption, or a tragic descent into madness. Instead, we get none of that complexity. We get a neutered Roman Reigns, stripped of intrigue, fighting hollow battles with no emotional core. Even Roman's promos, once masterclasses in controlled intensity, have suffered. The cadence, the menace, the gravitas he once brought to every word, gone. In its place are generic threats, empty bravado, and repetitive catchphrases. Roman used to speak, and you felt the weight of the empire on his shoulders. Now he sounds like any other upper mid-carder trying to talk tough before a pay-per-view. WWE has taken one of the best promo men of his generation and turned him into a parody of his former self. The creative decisions surrounding Roman's presentation are even more baffling when you consider the broader landscape of WWE. With The Rock unlikely to return for a full-fledged program and Cody Rhodes having moved on to other feuds, Roman had the opportunity to evolve into something entirely new, a war-hardened veteran seeking to rebuild his legacy against a new generation of hungry challengers. Instead, WWE seems determined to trap him in the past.
That's a weird way to end it. Okay. Well, that was nice.